On the next episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored, we are talking all things lips. Think about how important lips are, how much a part of our culture. I mean, even when we want to say we're just talking, we say we're paying it lip service. So it's going to be a very interesting episode. Please join us on Plastic Surgery Uncensored. Welcome to another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I am Monique Marvez. This is Dr. Roddy Raban, board-certified plastic surgeon here in Beverly Hills. And this episode is about lips.
Yes, lips.
Lips. And as a chick, as a woman, let's face it, lips have always been a very alluring part. I mean, back in the Cleopatra day, lipstick was invented to enhance lips. I mean, lips have always, I think it was the first makeup invented was lipstick back in Cleopatra's day.
Yeah, I mean, listen, body parts that we enhance or we adorn, we do them all over the place. We do that with our eyelashes. We do that with our earlobes, with earrings. We do that. We enhance our fingernails. So this is not a new concept. What's kind of happened is, so the fact that we do that is not new. And the fact that there are trends is not new. There was a time where we talked about it before, where like in the 90s, big breasts were in, now big butts are in, and so on and so forth. So lips, and remember, lips are now also not only an attractive body part, but they're a sensual body part. So it adds like another level. Certain areas of your bodies are connected to sensuality and sexuality. Breasts, lips, and so on and so forth. So it was, is, and will always be a hot topic. We've arguably swung the pendulum a little bit too far, and now we're having this dialogue because I think it's in the media and it's popular, not necessarily for all of its good, but rather for some of its bad, right?
People have gone lip crazy. If they say eyes are the windows to the soul, I think lips are the gateway to the nethers.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it kind of and isn't that in fact what people? I say women. I said as open by saying as a chick, jokingly, but men aren't concerned historically with lips, and now even men are getting in on the lip game.
You know, it's interesting. Men, all of aesthetics, men are getting into the aesthetic game. I mean, there's men now doing Botox that never gave a crap that had wrinkles. There's men now doing perhaps their neck and facelift before, whatever, you're a guy, you're aging. So I think that's not unique to lips. But I will tell you as a guy, this is one area where there's a huge dissociation between men and women's perceptions. Women getting larger lips, whereas men, when women get larger breasts, most men like that. They'll say they don't, but that's the truth, okay? But women getting larger lips, most men don't like that.
Really?
So I'm telling you, amongst most guys that are having dialogues, when they look at girls with these ginormous lips,
lips.
The duck lips, so to speak, which are even worse, which are even more enhanced by the duck lip animation. It's like you already have huge lips that you made, but when you do your little Instagram selfie pose, you make your duck lip pose, which makes them even more ridiculous. Guys don't find that attractive. So we're there now, and we now have to figure out how we got there. And like everything else that we talk about on the show is like, what's wrong? How did it get there? How can we move backwards? How can we get back to normal?
Well, and what is normal, and is larger lips the new normal? Like I think it's almost like a crime to have thin lips now when there's so many things you can do. So can we go kind of down the list of what you can do if you're unhappy with your lips and you're a normal person and you just want to make your lips better?
Well, let me just preface this by this saying that I think that having fuller lips in general is more attractive.
Correct.
Okay? Just in general, having fuller breasts historically have been more attractive. The issue is not having fuller or bigger breasts and or lips. The issue is, at what point is it ridiculous? At what point are your lips now comical? At what point do you look like a cartoon character? At what point are your breasts so big that they walk in before you do? So the thing with lips is, I don't think anybody will argue that somebody who has thin pencil-like lips ages them. And if you have some beautiful lips that are fuller, whether they're yours naturally or through enhancement, that a little bit of volume looks gorgeous. You put on lipstick, you look young and beautiful. The issue, like everything else, is when people get carried away. And like everything else, this is a combination. It's the perfect storm. You have celebrities that have enhanced it. So Kylie Jenner and all these people who have made the lip kit and this, that.
She made $1 billion with that thing.
Right. So you have the perfect storm. You have endorsement by celebrities. you have products that make it easier, fillers, and you have a shit ton of new practitioners opening up the gateways, and you can get this done in any spa. So listen carefully. Why are there so many people with ridiculous looking lips? Number one, there are celebrities, people that so-called are influencers who are suggesting and recommending it. Two, you have now products that you could literally, Juvederm, Restylane, there's hundreds of products on the market that you could readily, easily go get, and it's available to every person. You don't have to be rich. And three, you don't have to go to any specialist. You don't have to like get in line and wait for your board certified. But you go down the street to a spa, which is like in Koreatown, and you can get it done by God knows whom, and you can be out in 30 minutes. That perfect storm has led to them going from pretty large lips to like craziness.
Yeah.
And like everything else, if you want to look different or better than the next person, you got to take it up a notch. So because now everyone's on Instagram trying to make money from advertising, all these influencers, they push the envelope.
So, okay, so let's start with the basics. We all agree that fuller lips look nice, but there's shape of lip.
Correct.
There's like, I know that this is a Cupid's bow.
Correct.
Right? And I'll tell you, because when I like my mouth and I haven't done anything to it. And when I was younger, I used to put lipstick on with lip liner in the 80s and kiss a napkin and put my phone number. And I always liked the
wig, because that's a beautiful shaped lip.
it was like a thing, But as I got older, I can tell you, and I know they're called vermilion borders because my lips are thinner than they were. My print isn't quite so printy. So, you can do that. You can make your vermilion borders. You can fill.
So let's talk about basic aesthetics before we get into more odd stuff. I'm a regular girl. I like the idea of having fuller lips. It looks pretty. My lips are relatively thin. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to enhance them. So what do I have options?
What are the options?
So the most basic, most regular way to do things is to just do lip filler.
Okay.
So the key to that is number one, finding someone who knows what the hell they're doing. So you can do lip filler one of two ways. You can use needles.
Okay.
Or you can use a cannula. And we've spoken about this before.
A cannula?
Cannula is a long, blunt instrument that has no sharp ends. And I do all of my filler with a cannula. So that allows you
In the mouth,
in the cheeks, in the jaw, in the chin, everywhere. And so what that allows you to do is fill the lips. And so first thing is find a person who knows what they're doing. To figure out what technique they're using. Both are fine. Lips done with needles, lips done with cannulas have their pros and cons. I'm not going to digress.
Okay.
And then three is finding out what product. So here's number one pitfall, finding out the product. Fillers come in all thicknesses. So we have products that are relatively thin and we have products that are really thick and gooey. The problem is a lip should be soft, sensual, mobile. You don't want to kiss a brick.
No.
You want to kiss something soft. So the problem is when we put a lot of product in or we put thicker substance in, it changes the feel of lips. So you want to make sure you pick the right product. I personally use Restylane.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of Juvederm, which is the most popular product used because Juvederm, in my opinion, swells up too much and creates some of that poutiness that I feel looks unattractive, but many people like. So picking the product is important.
Okay.
And then figuring out how much of it do I need.
I think that's
So the problem is that you go in with thin lips and you want to come out and you want to look like Angelina Jolie. I don't know if it's her lips or not. People say it's hers. It doesn't matter. The point being is you want to go from nothing to something very large, just like a breast augmentation. You can't come into my office as flat as a boy and decide you want a triple D breast. It doesn't work that way. So incremental increase in lip volume is crucial. And there is a max, like in a chest. You see,
not enough room.
You see how I keep making analogies to the chest enhancement? It's the same. So now you have this lip. Maybe your lip is narrow and not that big. Maybe you don't have, who's that lady who has the really wide lips?
Melanie Griffith looks like a clown.
Well, no, but not that. But the one that was from Pretty Woman, what was her name?
Julia Roberts?
Julia Roberts' mouth is twice the size of a normal person's mouth. She's got a really long lip, like wide mouth. So she can tolerate more volume, whereas there's people whose mouths are half the size. So the key is fill in the lips to the point that they get full, but they don't look blown out. Lips have actual shape. There's a Cupid's
yeah.
bow that you refer to.
Yeah.
There's the vermilion border. That's the roll where the white part is. There is the philtral columns. Those are up there. So there's a shape. So like everything else, if I keep filling your lip in and filling it and filling it and filling it, at some point it looks like a sausage.
Like a bicycle tire.
Like
and it rolls up.
Right. It's sausage.
Ugh.
So when you do that overfilling, you lose the shape and then you lose the function. So you start getting pouty. Your lip starts to hang out like this. Why? Because it's heavy. The muscles in your lip, because the lip has muscles in it. That's why you can
Pucker.
kiss and pucker, and that's why you can suck on a straw. You start losing the ability to do that. If you notice, people can't pronunciate when their lips are really full. They can't actually pronunciate. So that's the most basic entry level lip enhancement.
Now, can you change the shape? Are there surgeries that people do to actually make not just filler, but like this little thing here, this little column?
So
This is
you can put
considered
filler. You can put filler into the philtral column. That's the two things that run up and down from your nose to your
and
lip.
make them more pronounced.
More pronounced. You can put filler into the Cupid's bow and make it more pronounced. You can do that all with filler. So filler is level 1.
Okay.
So
Now,
level
there's
2
surgery.
is now we're getting into a whole new dynamic. So it doesn't surprise me that the natural evolution of this lip phenomenon is we went from fillers to like people pushing the envelope, and now we're doing things called lip lifts.
Lip lift.
Lip lift.
Now, how does the lip, other than aging, you were saying in another segment that the lip like droops, that as you get older, your lips get
so
longer?
like everything else, it's the same everywhere. You lose volume and you increase skin. So you get deflated and you gain skin. So the treatment for aging of everything is going to be re-volumizing, adding volume, and shortening or removing. The issue is there's a surgery called a lip lift. And basically what it is the distance between under your nose to your lip is called the lip lift, the lip distance. So here, right underneath your nose,
Right.
where your nostrils come together, down to your lip is a distance. So as one ages, that distance gets longer and longer, and your lips, rather than being rolled outwards and being like ski sloped, they roll inwards and they look like they're old and like, kind of like they turn inwards.
like the Grinch.
So very commonly in facial rejuvenation of older women who have long lip length, we will do a lip lift, which is a pretty big surgery in my opinion, in that you cut all along the base of the nose from one.
There's a lot of nerves there, aren't there?
It's not the nerves, it's that you cut from one nostril all the way under the nose and all the way to the other nostril. And so it's a visible scar. Even if it's done incredibly well, it can be visible. And it changes the dynamics of the way your lip functions. So now if it's long and we make it normal, it looks great. And I think it's a very powerful surgical tool to rejuvenation. The issue is today we got young girls, 22, with normal lips, because you're 22.
Yeah.
And instead of wanting their lip volume larger, and they're like, I don't want to keep putting filler in, they go and get a lip lift, which everts and turns their lip. So the pink part of your lip, the pink part,
Right.
is called the vermilion. It's how much pink is showing. So when you put in filler, it makes the pink part bigger. So instead of putting in filler, they go and get this lip lift and shorten the distance, and it pulls your lip up, making their more visible pink, giving your lips a more everted look. The problem I have with that is many of these girls have normal lips, and they're getting this scar put under their nose at 24. Their lips look kind of weird.
And it
And
sounds
then
like you can't reverse that.
No, it's gone. The skin is in the garbage. It's done. It's like a facelift. And more importantly, their animation is weird. Like when I'm talking to you, just look at my lips and look how much movement, look at how much my cheeks move.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Like, look how much my lips move.
A lot.
So imagine if there was this like huge wedge of tissue moved here, and I was like this. So do you see how this looks a little bit weird? I know
Looks a lot weird.
So the people the people listening in can't see it. But so lip lifts are super popular now. But much like fat transfer became popular and it was like a little bit was okay, now it's over the top and people are dying. I think lip lift, my opinion personally, is being way overused in the young population. They're exchanging a pretty obvious scar, some functional weirdness for like enhanced lip presence. So that's, do your homework when you do your lip lift.
It could arguably be unattractive. And I just asked you, is it hard to correct a bad lip lift? And I want to repeat this because it's important. There's no correcting a bad lip lift.
No, it's you literally cut out a wedge of tissue or skin from your lip to your nose and cut it out, and then the scar hides. It's a gull wing scar. It goes right in the base of your nose. If you're lucky and it heals really well, you can conceal it with makeup. But if it doesn't, there's a slight dent there, and I personally think it's quite obvious.
All right. We're going to take a break because when we come back, I think I would like to, we talk about ethnicity a lot. Big lips are a part of some cultures and ethnicities. I think Michael Jackson was the first famous person I remember that I looked at his face and go, you've done something. And then when I really looked, it's like, your lips can people do that?
Yeah, lip reduction is actually quite a common procedure, and it's done for a number of reasons. It's done generally for people who have genetically large lips, as well as for people who unfortunately took a wrong turn and injected a bunch of stuff in their lips, and now they're stuck with it.
Well, let's take a break and come back and just wrap up with that. When we come back to Plastic Surgery Uncensored, we're just going to wrap it up with lip reduction, because I was surprised to find out that as much as everybody wants them bigger and bigger, there are still a select members of the population that get them smaller. Coming back on Plastic Surgery Uncensored, lip reduction. We're back with Plastic Surgery Uncensored. On this particular one, we're discussing, this episode is all about the lips. Now, I think it's obvious when somebody does, your lips are in the middle of your face. It's even more than a nose job. But you're saying that people wax and wane, up and down. We were discussing Lisa Rinna during the break. Talk to me about Lisa Rinna's lips, because they have been, other people have talked about them ad nauseum.
Okay, so listen, there are two things you do with your lips. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller.
Okay.
So we talked a whole first segment about this lip phenomenon, the lip kit, and Kylie Jenner and her making billions of dollars through this phenomenon. Just to be note, I don't really think that those, if you want to use a lip kit or something like makeup or whatever, because you're going to a party, you put it on your lips, it makes your lips enhance, awesome, they're going to go away, you go back to normal. There's a number of people who end up getting their lips enhanced and then they regret it. And if you use reversible filler, maybe you can reverse it or whatever, but there is a subset of individuals who have injections in their lips. I've taken care of hundreds where they have these permanent fillers injected in their lips. So basically, they're stuck with it. They hate not only the size of their lips, but they hate the shape of their lips. They have lumps and irregularities, and like you can see the smoothness of their lip is destroyed. That's one subset of individuals who want their lips smaller. And another is ethnic patients. There are individuals who are born with super large lips, like if you're born with super large breasts. And aside from it, like not looking proportional like a big nose, it actually causes them issues like chapped lips because they're exposed. They bite their lips while they're eating and talking. So those are our two subcategories. What do those people need? They need a lip reduction. So there's no way to remove anything out of your lip like filler. Like people call me and they're like, I put silicone. Silicone's a perfect example. Silicone in solid form works great, but in injectable form doesn't work so great. The silicone creates an allergic reaction type thing when it's free floating, not in a breast implant, not in a chin implant, but just injections. It goes all over the place and it can never be removed. So a lot of people come to me from around the world. They had gone to their friend's house or a spa or whatever. They had something injected in their lips. More often, they don't even know what the hell it was, only to find out 5 to 10 years later that whatever it was never went away. And not only did it not go away, their lips are growing. And their lips are getting larger, and they're getting kind of weird looking. So what happens is when you get a foreign material injected in your lip, and it's not dissolvable by the body itself, like Restylane or Juvederm, your body reacts to it and creates these inflammatory reactions called granulomas. And your body keeps trying to figure out how to get rid of this crap. And so it keeps inflaming, and you get these reactions that keep happening. That causes you to create scar tissue, and the lips start getting larger and they get lumpy. So here you are now, you injected your lips when you were in your 30s. Now you're 45 and you have this pouty large lip that's all irregular. What the hell do you do? There's nothing to do other than a lip reduction, which is actually a very tricky procedure that not a lot of people know or want to do as surgeons. And what you have to do is you have to actually go and cut out a wedge of the lip mucosa itself. You can't go in there and take the silicone out. It's everywhere. It's in the muscle. It's in the mucosa. It's not like you can go and like pluck it out. You have to take out the excess lip itself, like a breast lift or a face lift. You got to cut out the lip.
The matter,
the mucosa itself. So that's the procedure that you need to do. You do that for two reasons. One is because it'll make the lips smaller, but also because it improves the shape, because the lip is like all wavy and crap. So that's a lip reduction for people who have had injections in there. And it's actually the same procedure we do for individuals who have ethnic or are born with large lips and want their lips to be made smaller or more balanced or more to fit their face. There are different kinds of lip reductions inside the lip. The one I use and I propose and I like the most is one where you do sort of a wedge excision. But the bottom line for the listeners is to know that in addition, one more thing. If you use reversible filler.
Well, I was going to say, because Lisa Rinna's lips were very ginormous.
So Lisa Rinna.
And then they went.
No, so Lisa Rinna had beautiful lips.
She was a very pretty woman.
She went and had her lips injected with some crap. I do think it was silicone. They did exactly what I said they were going to do. They grew. She then went and had a lip reduction, and then her lips became more normal. That's Lisa Rinna. A subcategory. So I taught you could be born with large lips. You can get large lips that are irregular from permanent filler. But if you keep getting Restylane or Juvederm, absorbable filler put in large quantities over a long period of time, your lip mucosa will stretch and it will never stretch back. And then you'll have this sort of pouty, hanging out lip that also needs a lip reduction. Much like if you put a huge breast implant in a breast and then take it out, it's going to have saggy skin.
Like blowing out your underwear elastic.
Yes. That's also another analogy. So I think lips are super important. I think they used to be such an important part of beauty. We've, in many ways, like other things like butts, we've gone, I believe, way too far. Ironically, the lip kit queen went and reversed it, which is just so ironic. She went and reversed it. And the reality is that,
Did people used to put permanent, like I believe, and perhaps I'm wrong, like strips of permanent stuff in the lips in the 80s?
Yeah, that's true. There was Gore-Tex.
Gore-Tex, because I know people are getting it taken out now.
Yeah, because, I mean, yes, there were ways. There's dermis. You could actually take skin and take the skin off and put it in there. Fascia, you could take Gore-Tex. In general, that has fallen to the waist side in the world of filler. Like you would never in your right mind go and stick some foreign material as a strip, like a piece of plastic in your lip when you can use filler. So those were popular in the 80s well before we had filler. And you're right, because they're rubbery and hard. A lot of people are having them taken out, but that's not really popular anymore. And last but not least is putting fat in your lips, which is another really dangerous thing. So let me caution you on that. Fat, which is so popular, right? Fat in the butt, fat in the breast, fat in the face, fat in the lips. Fat has its issues. And the issue is that when you take fat and you inject it anywhere, but especially in the lips, fat is a live, living organ. And what happens is there are lots of reported cases where people get fat in their lips, then they gain weight throughout their life, and the fat expands exponentially. So you gain 30 pounds, 40 pounds, your lips don't get bigger. Lips don't have fat in them. Lips are muscle and mucosa. Mm-hmm. The fat you harvest for lip fat transfer is usually from the belly or some part of the body. That fat is hormonally sensitive. When you gain 40 pounds in your body, your lips will blow up. And there's many reported cases of lips growing when you gain weight because now you have body fat in your lips, which never was in there.
It's like the eyebrow hairs being from your head, so you have to trim them more.
Yeah. So I really caution you to be careful about fat. Maybe in your cheeks, it's one thing, but in your lips, I really think it's a no-no.
It's a recipe for disaster.
That's right.
So I think we should bring it on home and say, with lips, more is not always better.
Yes, less is more.
Less is more.
I definitely think so.
Okay. I see how I handed you the...
You did. You just kind of like...
Yes.
Bob.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. We hope we answered all of your lip questions and did not just pay it lip service. I had to do it again on the backside. Okay.
Tell everybody to share this information. Please, please, please download.